Welcome to the ROI Masterclass, the podcast where vision meets strategy and bold moves create measurable results. I'm Liat Siegel, interior designer and ROI strategist with 17 years of experience. I help businesses transform properties and ideas into high-performing assets. This show is specifically for real estate investors, hospitality operators, and boutique developers who aren't afraid to take risks, challenge the status quo, and demand a return on every decision they make. Each and every week, we talk with innovators and leaders across industries about the strategies and the insights and really all the unconventional thinking that turns potential into profit every single time. If you believe that smart design, decisive leadership, and strategic risk are the keys to real ROI, you're in the exact right place. Let's dive in. Today's guests are Mark and Lana, the dynamic husband and wife team behind Blistopia Retreats, a unique wellness retreat center nestled at the base of Sunrise Mountain Preserve in Arizona. With backgrounds in psychotherapy, yoga, martial arts, and culinary arts, Mark and Lana have created a holistic sanctuary that blends luxury amenities with a warm, home-like atmosphere. Since opening in 2021, they hosted over 60 retreats, offering everything from yoga teacher trainings to energy healing, all while personally managing every aspect of the guest experience. Their commitment to service, community, and authentic connection sets Blistopia apart as a destination for transformation and deep relaxation. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am so happy that you're here with us.
Leah, thank you so much for having us.
Yes,
we appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Of course. So tell us how you got started. I know there's quite a backstory and what you guys are doing today.
You know, we've lived a little bit of life. So there's quite a bit of backstory. Do you mind if I start?
Go ahead.
So I started out in health, wellness, mental health mostly. Early on as a psychotherapist working with people with developmental disabilities and severe and persistent mental illness. And early on, I was doing therapy and I thought there has to be more than this, more than medications, more than just the standard thing. How else can I help people? And I had literally a calling one day. I was in the bathroom and it was like a voice. And I know I wasn't hearing things, but it was a voice saying I needed to be around pregnant mamas and babies. And I was like, what does that mean? So I talked to my midwife and started just researching a little bit what that might look like. And my midwife said, well, what about a doula? And I thought, well, that's cool. I had a midwife for my babies but a doula, I didn't know what it was. And so that was one of my first modalities that I started getting into to support mamas and babies, and then supporting them with emotional support, physical support. And then I'm like, there's still more. And then I went to do a certified hypnotherapist training and started doing that. And then one of my friends said, you would be really good to do energy work. And I'm like, what is that? I might have been doing this already because I was teaching yoga already at the time. So I started doing that. I dove deep into certifications, trainings, study early on, and just started practicing all those modalities. And I found that it really helped people. And I had so many different tools in my tool belt. And I would refer people on to other people for different things that I didn't specialize in. So yeah, that's a little bit of back my story, but I'll let you.
My background started when I was a teenager. I got involved with martial arts after a personal attack. I got beat up in an alley in South Minneapolis where I grew up. And I just wanted to learn how to defend myself. And that led to me teaching martial arts. And teaching martial arts really became a big part of my calling in my life. I've been involved in that in some fashion ever since the mid 80s. So teaching martial arts, both professionally and just as a hobby, owned, operated martial arts gyms, boxing gyms, fitness centers. Together with Lana and I, we've owned fitness center, fitness boxing gyms, and a yoga studio, and now the retreat center. When COVID hit, we decided to kind of make a big transition. We knew we were going to leave Minnesota eventually because of the cold winters. And we both spent, 50 winters in Minnesota. And that's a lot of years of cold winters. So it was just a matter of when and where and how. And COVID kind of pushed us in the right direction. Lana's parents live in Mesa, Arizona, which is about 40 miles from where we live now, compared to Minnesota, which was 1,700 miles away. We decided Arizona is probably the right place because as they get older, we want to be here to help them out if they need help. And Lana had a retreat scheduled in Costa Rica during COVID that got postponed. And in 2021, she was finally able to go to that retreat at the beginning of 2021. When she came back, we didn't know what we were going to do. We were going to sell all of our businesses, the boxing gyms, the yoga studio, our home, everything, and move to Arizona. But we didn't know what we were going to do here. And she came back from that retreat in Costa Rica and she looked at me and she says, I know what we're going to do. We're going to open a retreat center and we're going to start running retreats and we're going to go deeper with people. And I just went, like I did on everything else that we've done together. I just went, okay.
Amazing.
So that's how Blistopia Retreats really.
You trust the calling.
Yeah.
I trust his vision and his dreams.
I mean, that's quite the transition, but I love what you said that we're going to go deeper with people, because I think that ROI is often looked at from a very financial side of things. But I think today we're going to be looking at the deeper story and how ROI is also an experience. And that's what people are craving, I think, today more than anything is, and post-COVID, is connection and healing. People are wanting, they're craving to go deeper and to connect with people and to find more of who they are. So I think today's conversation is going to be very insightful in terms of that. And I can't wait to dig in more about what specifically, if you can tell our audience, sets you guys apart and makes your retreat center so unique.
I think a big part of it is, we keep our retreats smaller, so they're not 30, 40 people to where they get a few people could get kind of left by the wayside during the retreat and maybe not get that attention that they seek and need. We keep them on a smaller, usually around 10 guests or less. And each individual that comes here, really, if they're seeking healing, if they're seeking just a change, just a break, some transformation, whatever they're seeking, we kind of get that out of them beforehand and then during to find out what they really want and need. And they may find something else during that time that they're here that they actually do need. And we're able to, Lana, especially because of her background, her insight with being able to reach people at a different level, at a deeper level. But the combination of the two of us is unique because I kind of am her support on the male side. She's the female, so she gets to be able to have women confide in her real easy. And then I'm there for if they just need to hear a stronger side as well.
A different side.
Yeah, a different side. So to answer the question, I guess it's more, we're just a unique team that you're not going to really get at every retreat center that's out there because of that. And we care about each guest. We tell everyone that comes here when they're leaving, they can never leave the family. They're part of the family now.
Forever and always.
But it's my part Italian background that I have, so I kind of live true to that.
I think also what makes us different is that when we have other host facilitators rent our property, that they have us. So not many places are like that where we're trustees of the nonprofit. So we're a nonprofit, even though you have to profit in order to make it happen. So we hold the space in a way that we are hosts and facilitators, just as someone else walking in as a host facilitator with their own group, because we know what they're going through and what it takes to run a retreat, hold space, dive deeper, and we're here for them. We actually had one host facilitator bring a group from North Dakota a couple of years back, and her dad passed away like just weeks before. She had all these people coming in from North Dakota. They already had airline tickets and all that. And we said, we got this. We got this for you. She had all her guests come. We ran the retreat as if it were her own. And they came back the next year. And they came back the next year so that that host facilitator could be here. And I mean, if something like that happens, we literally can hold that space for people between Mark and I's different modalities. We don't know every modality, but we can hold space in a way that we can support people.
I mean, you've gone through such a journey and learning so many different, as you said, different modalities and different ways to support people. What do you think is the most shocking for you guys throughout the journey of opening the retreat in terms of guest experience? What stood out to you?
The connections that we make are, some of them are very, very deep and we know that will be lifelong. One in particular, we had a guest that came on a Mother's Day retreat, our second year, so 2022. She walked through the front door and she was very sick. And she looked very sick. I literally thought she was dying. I was very concerned for her health.
She was actually looking for places for medical spaces, medical retreats, but there wasn't really anything that would satisfy what she wanted as far as medical goes.
So she had gone through quite a bit of health issues, changes, especially relating to her gut. She was a nurse, a registered nurse, but she left the medical field during COVID. Because she just didn't agree with the policies, and also because of what the doctors did to her. What they recommended her do. So she was pretty messed up. I have a nutritional background as well, and personal training, and I went through regenerative health training to understand nutrition at a deeper level. So I was using a superfoods product that I recommended for her. And I said, would you at least try? Because the first meal she was making, she was blending her food in a blender just so she could drink it and eat it. And I thought that was very odd. And I said, how about trying an actual fruit smoothie shake? Very simple, easy, but it's very nutritious. And she said, I'll try anything because I'm at that point, I'm desperate for help. And she drank it. Well, she wanted another one the next day. She had 2 the next day. She had 3 the third day. And by the time she left the retreat, she said she had more energy and slept better and was able to go to the bathroom for the first time in weeks, if not months. That was part of the journey of the start of it. And then it got deeper. She called us back. She was going to come back. She called back and said that she forgot her favorite pair of shorts here. And I said, well, you're just going to have to come back and get them then. And she said, okay. So she came back to the next retreat that we held, and she had put on, this was just in a few months, she put on 35 pounds of weight. She was 5'9", and she weighed 108 pounds when she walked through the door at first. Wow. So she put on 35 pounds of really mostly all muscle because she was taking Lana's yoga classes in the morning every day. She was religious. She lives in Boston. So her health was already a world's different from what it was. So she came back. It was just great to see her. Well, over the next 2 years, 3 years now, she's been to 6 retreats. She's assisted with us on about 10 others. Wow. And she's just been she's
co-facilitated one.
Yeah, she's become a good friend of ours. She's now the healthiest that she's been in her entire life.
Wow. That's just one person.
That's just one. Yeah. That's just one. But these
it's about the connections, really.
And what a testimonial.
You can't put a dollar amount on something like that because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. To us, what came of that, our friendship with her, that's what matters.
We have other people coming back to do, they come on a retreat, they come back to do certifications, yoga teacher training, energy work certifications. They come back to say, hey, are you open for 2 weeks? Can I stay there, on property and work remotely? And if we're open, we can figure that out because that's what we do. And just like so many situations like that, they'll feel comfortable to reach out to us to basically figure something out.
We have one retreat host that she just loves the space so much. She's just contacted us just the other day to book her 5th annual retreat coming up this next winter. Her 5th one, and and we're not really even involved in her retreat, but she just loves the space. So the space is special, and then of course what we try to do to help people is meaningful as well.
It sounds like authentic connection is really where you guys have seen the most ROI, the most success in terms of both on the personal level and financially too.
We just had an event the other day. It was the Blistopia method. We do transformational breath work with sound healing, cold plunge, and a cacao ceremony. And I just talked to one of the guests. It's a 3-hour local event. And she goes, yeah, I haven't been here for a couple of weeks because she does my yoga classes too. And she goes, I quit my job. And she was so proud of herself. She's like, I quit my job.
Oh my gosh.
She goes, I needed to do it, but the Blistopia method, it was that like clarity that came through, like, of course, why am I staying at this job? And so she gave her notice and she's done there.
Wow.
And it's going to move to something that she wants to do.
Yes. And living the best life, right? And I think that's ultimately, life is really short. I know that people say that again and again, and it's so cliche, but time does really go by so fast. I look at my kids and I'm like, they were so little. And now, my oldest is 16, and it's crazy to see how quickly life goes by. And when we're not in our best, doing our best, feeling our best, what is the point? And I see that is so true for whether working on a hospitality project or commercial, etc. The people that are working in the spaces, the people that are interacting, they need to feel good. They need to know through that authentic connection that we really do care. They are not just another number. They're not just another employee. And it's through modalities like this or through experiences like yours that I think that is really communicated. And they can really believe it's not just, a nice sticker or like a nice, saying, but we really do care and they really are taken into consideration.
100%.
So what is like a challenge that you guys have gone through, changed your perspective in how you conduct retreats today?
I think, there's several things that we've learned over the course of the years here and the number of retreats that we've done. Like everyone, we learn something and we do course correct because we want to get better. Like we don't want to stay stuck and just like keep doing what we're doing. So my mom used to say, she's a Bohemian or Czechoslovakian. And she would always say when I was a kid, she'd say, good, better, best, never let it rest till the good gets better and the better gets best. And I always had that in my mind that like that means expansion. Like, how do we get better? How do we grow from a situation? I learn from every single guest, whether there's challenges there. We've had a couple challenging guests where I've learned about myself. And I don't always like that because there's shadow things right there that need to be worked through. But I have to show up with my best self every single time, my healed self, because I can't show up wounded for other people's wounds. So I'm constantly working on myself outside of retreat. So I'm doing my yoga practices. I do Mark's breathwork practices to keep my wounds healing and scabbing over so that I don't put that on someone else. I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is that I need to be in the best space that I can before I go in to support someone else.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of what we do is I kind of always, most of my adult life have lived with the idea of always raising the bar. And, and that's personally, professionally, financially, and then even emotionally, spiritually, things like that. So when it comes to this business, it's a natural progression that we have to do because first of all, there's competition. We want people to find us, but then we want them to come back. So if we do a good job, if we do a great job, if we do an amazing job, that's a difference. There's a difference between those levels. And, we're always trying to be on that amazing level because we want them to be amazed. We want them to share it with the world, but also just to know that we're here for them.
Yeah, there was when Mark started doing his breathwork practices, like literally he didn't tell me. Like he just started doing it. And he'd be out back by the chickens every morning doing his breath work. I'm like, well, cool. Like he was feeling better. I could see changes happening with him. And he said, I'm going to be a breathwork coach after he started doing the practices. I'm like, that's awesome. Like always just wanting to grow and learn is really important, I think, to both of us.
Growth is, if you're not growing, you're stagnant or moving backwards, more so. And the people around us too, like whether it's our clients, guests, employees, they can feel it too. And they will grow right along with us, right? When our kids see us growing or they see us improving or saying, you know what, that was my bad, they feel called to also improve, or, being real with a client or something, whatever it is. We're all human at the end of the day, and we're all needing to grow. And I think really we're seeing a huge shift from corporate America, right? And from everything just being cookie cutter to real, again, and I think this is a theme for our conversation today, real authentic connection, real authentic growth and experiences. How do you feel that experience is impacted by how a space is set up and how the retreat, the energy and the ambiance of a retreat?
That's super important to me, is the feel of the place. And sometimes that's unexplainable. You can't really put it into words. It's just a feeling. It's the vibration that it has. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It doesn't have to be like the most updated, white kitchen or whatever is the most current thing happening. It's more about the care that's put into it. Like cleanliness of the space is really important to me and you. Like I want it to be clean and fresh. I'll burn incense and sage on a regular basis to clear the energy. And just the colors, I like the colors for people, and have it feel homey and comfortable, because that's where we heal. Is like when you're comfortable in the space, maybe uncomfortable inside, right? Not always comfortable there, but at least the space is comfortable. That's important.
When we found Blistopia, it was a process. Once we came up with, we're going to open a retreat center, then the search started, and we searched all over the Phoenix metro area, and Phoenix is the fifth largest city in the United States. So it's a big, big place. We researched down near Mesa, closer to Lana's parents, east, west, north, south. And we were searching mostly from the internet, and our real estate broker friend that lives down here, he was already here. He was from Minnesota originally. So he's out here searching for us, and got a couple different properties we looked at, and we even flew down and looked at one. It wasn't the right fit. But then when this place was found, he basically did a video tour on his phone. He's like Facebook lived us and walked through the property. And by the time he got halfway into the house, Lana was on the computer booking flights. And said, we got to see this place, because we were checking it out online, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. I got to see this place." So we flew down. And the space itself speaks for itself once you're here, much differently than just the pictures on our website. I went outside and started walking around the property, because it's a couple acres of land, 2.5 acres of land. And a lot of it's wilderness, right on the desert mountain. It's all wilderness. And that to me is like amazing just in itself, because we're in the city, but yet we have this wilderness section. So I'm checking that all out. She's in the house, and I come around the property back to the front, and the realtor's standing there, and I go, "Where's Lana?" And he goes, "She's in the house and she's crying."
Oh my God.
I just started smiling. He goes, "Is that a good thing or a bad thing?" I said, "Oh, that's a good thing." And I walk in, and she's sitting on the first set of steps from the kind of a sunken living room foyer area to the dining area. And she's got tears in her eyes, and she looks at me and she says, "This is the place."
Wow.
She knew right away, and I knew right away. And
the frequency on this land is just an incredible frequency. Like everyone feels that they're like, wow, the pictures don't do it justice. And I'm like, we need to redo our pictures. But yet, is that really going to capture it? It's like you have to be here to feel it and experience it.
I mean, I could literally feel it through the screen. I could feel the energy. and the joy, the bliss of your retreat center. So what is next for you guys? What does the future hold?
Well, we are looking at expanding and having a sister business to the retreat center.
So yes, Blistopia Yoga, a yoga studio here in the area, and nothing's firmed up, but we've been looking for a while to take over an existing studio where there's community and to build local community as well.
What is the impact that you guys are wanting to leave, the legacy, and what do you want people to say about your spaces?
I think they say it. They do. Like in our reviews and like just the text messages that we get regularly about how we connect with people.
We're also not your typical, at 65, we're retiring and hanging it up and going away and we're going to go, live in an RV park somewhere, We're not that typical couple. So we talk about this quite regularly that we're probably never going to retire. We're not going to be doing 60 retreats every 4 years, 5 years from now. But we will probably slow down on the number of retreats we do, but we'll probably still do them in some fashion, even 10 years, 20 years from now, just because it's that connection that we get to make. We don't have to. We don't have to do this, but we get to. And we love that. That's kind of what's different is I don't think we'll ever retire is what I'm saying.
Do you mind if I read 2 text messages that I've literally got in the last 12 hours?
Please share with us.
This is a regular thing. So one of the gals that does yoga with me, she said, wow, I feel so good today. I asked myself, why do I feel so happy? Was it the song I heard, Ice Ice Baby from the 80 or yoga last night? I believe it was the yoga. Thank you so much for helping us to live a healthier life. That was one. And then the other one, she said, thank you, spiritual teacher Lana. You are overqualified and that your pure love came through. You're so humble. I'm always inspired. And that's someone that I do regular coaching with every week and also the yoga practices because I can connect with people on Zoom as well. But that's what it's all about for us. Like, I don't need to hear that stuff. Like it's not a requirement for me, but it's validating that our legacy will carry on. Like that is being carried on. Every time we touch someone, they touch someone else in that way. So I just think of us as a ripple and someone rippled onto us. So I just want to pass the ripple along so that it keeps going.
I love that so much. We really do make an impact on everyone else around us when we work on ourselves first, and then we're able to give others and so on and so forth. I think that's such an amazing message to leave with our audience. And if they want to come to your retreat center, want to get in touch with you guys, how can they do that?
Oh, call us.
Well, yeah, calling, yeah. We prefer to talk to people directly, but if they want to check us out on the website, it's blistopiaretreats.com. So like utopia, except with the word bliss, blistopiaretreats.com. You can email us at blistopiaretreats@gmail.com. Call us at 623-986-2899 or text us. And then you can also set up a live Zoom meeting with us right on our website. There's a link on there to, if you want to just meet us and tell us about what you're looking for, what you need, what you want, what your dreams are. If you want to attend a retreat, you want to host a retreat, all of those things are options that we can sit down and spend a half an hour with you on a Zoom call. And that way you get to know us, get to know a little more about us instead of just, feeling like a commercial space because we're not commercial.
I love that. Yes, I love that. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. It was such a pleasure speaking with you both and learning about your journey, your story, and the legacy that you're going to leave.
Thank you for letting us share.
Thank you so much.
For hearing our story.